Okay, so like I was saying in the last video, is that because you're the owner of this document, you can see it all the time. But someone like an administrator or your teacher or anybody who does not own it, or that you haven't given permission to view this document, they will get a screen here that says request access to the document, and they won't be able to see it. Okay, so you got to make sure that you don't do that and that you share it properly. So if we go back to editing mode, and we look here, you've got a cover letter, and it's been inserted through Google Docs. We need to do the same thing with our resume. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Pages, and we're going to hit the plus sign again, and we're going to call this Resume, and we're going to say Done. Okay, and now you can see how my pages are coming up without the banner in there, and that's okay. And then we're going to go back to Insert, and again I'm going to say From Drive. And if you don't have a resume, that's another thing that you're going to have to put together for this assignment. Okay, and there's lots of help out on the web on how to do that, but it's something that all of you should have in place for your upcoming and impending jobs in schools. Okay, so I'm just going to search and just type in resume and see what I come up with here. All right, here's a resume that I've got. I'll just double click it to insert it, or click it and click it and then say insert as well. Okay, and then there's my resume, and like my cover letter, I have my contact information up here, but you can see that I've blanked out my phone number and address and other things that again that nobody really needs to see until they're ready to hire you for a job. You can include your email address obviously on your resume, and then again, just like the cover letter, I like to keep my objective so that it's viewable. So again, if I go to the eyeball, when they come to this page, can they see my objective? And very clearly they can. Okay, so let's just go back to editing mode for a second. We can't really make these wider. I mean, we could scrunch them down and make them skinnier, but I don't think that really would serve any good purpose for that. Again, like the cover letter, the benefit of doing this is we've added it from the drive, so that if we go back to our drive and make any changes to this document sort of in the background, it will automatically update. So let's say, this week you're applying for a grade 2 position and you didn't get it. And then next week another job comes up, but it's for grade 4. Well, if you go to your drive and you change your cover letter in your drive or your resume in your drive, again, it will automatically update in your ePortfolio Google site, and then you don't have to keep multiple copies of your resumes, okay, or your cover letters. So with that said, this page is basically done again because we've got at least a one-page resume that is inserted through Google Docs. Now the next tab or the next navigation thing that we're going to add is a belief statement. So if we go back here, and again you can see that this is kind of just like rinse and repeat. We just kind of do the same thing over and over. So I'm going to call it my belief statement. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to say done. And then, so my belief statement page is done. If I go to insert, what I am looking for here is, again, a Google Doc that's inserted through Google Docs, a statement that's 300 to 500 words in length, and explaining what you believe about kids and teaching and learning. Okay, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for there. Oops. There we go. And so you can type that out in Google Docs, and then you can insert it into your portfolio. Now I'll just do something that's similar. I don't have quite a belief statement like this, but I'll show you what I would put in. I have my teaching philosophy, so I'll put in teaching philosophy, and I think this is mine, so I'll just double click it. Yeah. So again, create it so that this box is big enough that in preview mode, they get a good look at what you've got here. So this is, you know, not a bad size. So that's your belief statement in there. Of course, yours will say belief statement, not teaching philosophy, but you can kind of feel what I'm trying to say here. And then if you want, and this is a bonus, instead of doing a belief statement where you are typing it out, if you want to do a webcam or a camera from your phone or whatever device, and you want to do a video belief statement explaining your belief statement, but as a video, you will not only get these 5 marks, but you will get a bonus 5 marks for this assignment automatically. But that is optional, okay? You do not have to do it unless you want to. All right, so the next page that we're going to add is our highlights page. So if I go back to my portfolio and I go back to pages, I'm going to type in highlights like that. And again, make sure you spell everything correctly. The fastest way to not get a job is on your cover letter, especially your cover letter, but anywhere in your package that you have spelling mistakes, you are that is a very fast way to sort of get into the not getting hired pile. Okay, so there's some highlights here in the checklist page. It says that you need 5 examples of your educational experience, assistant experience thus far, and then mentioning anything here on that page that you think would help you in your educational experience at a school. Okay, so on that page, you could do a text box and just type it up in there. Again, my preference would be to create that document, create this highlights page in Google Drive. So I'll actually do this, right? I'm just going to call it, I'm going to show you just how this works. Highlights, right? And then down here, you would type in your highlights. Okay. This is one way to do it. Okay. And it's saved. And then I'm just going to close it now. I'm going to go back to my ePortfolio, and then I could say insert from Google Drive. And of course, I could I'm going to go to my recents. It should be the first thing there. There we go. And then I'm going to say insert, and there is that page coming up here. And if I go to preview, let's see what it's got on it. Does it got anything on it? There, it says highlights in there. Okay, so I just want to show you something else here. If I go to this document, and now in here I change it and say highlights of Brad McDermott EA. Okay, and those are all saved there. If I go back to my ePortfolio page, I'm just going to kind of refresh my screen, and let's see how fast it. Sometimes it takes a few minutes, and sometimes it's instant. We'll see. I'll go back to preview, and you can see that those changes have already been made. Okay, so that's what I was talking about with your cover letter and resume. If you fix it on the back end, when you're applying for one job or another, it automatically updates in your Google site. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and then I'll create another 10-minute video talking a little bit more about the last parts of this process.